Guess who's back in Trinity, fellas? It's everyone's favorite high school band. It's HTT. It's Kesokuban. It's Sugar Rush. As the I've Alive event is making a rerun to be a global this Tuesday, and with it marks the debut of Ben Natsu as the new permanent 3-star unit in her banner I Need to Be in Romantic. Plus, Ben Kazusa's and Ben Yoshimi's banners will also be rerunning, while Ben Irie is the event's welfare unit. Also, Kikyo is returning, possibly as Sugar Rush's 5th secret member. I've previously already covered the 3-band girls last year when they first released, as well as Kikyo when she arrived to global. You can go check those videos out if you want, links in the pinned comment. I think they still hold up fairly well, except that Ben Kazusa has recently found a bit more use in the new Yesod raid for phase 2. I'll talk a bit more about it in this video. Anyways, without further ado, here is a short review of Ben Natsu. After a year of waiting, Sugar Rush's beloved drummer has finally arrived to global. Its ass's resident philosopher, romantic, and yapper, it's Ben Natsu. Fellas, my favorite ass member is of course Yoshimi, but hot damn, Natsu looks freaking adorable as Sugar Rush's drummer. Not only does that oversized cream-colored jacket make her look even cuter, but the little accessories she has on it gives it more personality too. I also really like her new pink short side ponytail that's wrapped in that yellow scrunchie. I personally prefer it over her usual twin tails, and looking at her overall design, you can definitely tell it was inspired by Bocchi's Nijika. From the coat and the high stockings, which is something Nijika would wear, the similar side ponytails, and her adorable ahoge is an important representation of Nijika's Dorito. Personality-wise, even in her new band out, Natsu is still hilarious. I really love her usual Kazusa and Yoshimi rage bait. It's really funny and heartwarming to see because it showcases their deep bond to be able to joke like that, as well as a constant philosophical talk, like a pontifications on the meaning of rock, what it means to be rock, to walk the path of rock. She needs to show us her own rock. Natsu-chan no rock, Natsu-za-rocko. Lastly, her L2D is spicy, cute, and funny. She looks adorable lying down like that, but damn it, this brat is literally inviting us to lay down with her, while teasing us with that drummable belly that I'm going to be licking and putting a baby in all night long. You better stop tempting me with that sexy body, you damn brat, otherwise I'm gonna rock you out with my cock out. So, what kind of student is she? Well, Ben Natsu is an explosive striker healer with blue armor, whose terrain moves are as follows: B combat power in urban terrains, S combat power in field, and D combat power indoors. She also uses gloves, pin, and necklace for her equipment, with the necklace boosting her healing proficiency. So, is Ben Natsu any good? Well, she is the game's 7th striker healer, and a pretty good AoE healer at that, with her EX as a main healing source. With it, she can expand an average 4 cost to recover the health of all allies in a round-shaped area around herself thanks to its decent 25.2% multiplier at max level skill, with this heal activating every 2 seconds for 24 seconds. Plus, she also gains 2 Sugar Rush stacks for 25 seconds, being able to hold a max of 2. Her EX provides continuous heals instead of a burst, and these heals come pretty fast since they proc every 2 seconds for 24 seconds unlike the usual 4, meaning it can activate around a max of 13 times per EX, as it includes the initial heal when you first proc it. Not only that, her heals are also actually fairly strong. In comparison to other continuous healers like Onsen Shigure, Hanako, Atsuko, and Casual Senna, generally, Ben Natsu's heals are slightly better than Atsuko's and Hanako's, but it isn't as strong as Onsen Shigure's and Casual Senna's more potent heals. And you could say that she lands somewhere in the middle. However, keep in mind that they all have different EX costs and heal frequencies. Plus, they also have different roles and kits. For example, Hime is also an evasive tank, while Hanako and Onsen Shigure are special students. So, who you use between them depends on your roster, the team you're utilizing, as well as the content you're tackling. Aside from that, her EX's range is quite wide too, and it is centered around her position. It's similar to Atsuko's, where it surrounds them and it follows them as they move. So Ben Natsu's positioning is important, as placing her wrongly in the team or if the battle has a lot of movement may result in your striker students not receiving her heals. Moving on, with a sub-skill, she accumulates 1 stack of rhythm up for every 6 Sugar Rush stacks your entire team has, being able to hold up to 4 RU stacks, and her attacks have a fixed 20% chance of reducing the enemy's attack for 20 seconds, with a 5-second cooldown between activations, and her attack debuff values increase depending on the number of rhythm up stacks she has. At 0 stacks, she decreases the enemy's attack by 5%, 1 stack equals 7.5% attack down debuff, 2 stacks equals 10%, 3 stacks is 12.5%, and lastly, with 4 rhythm up stacks, she shreds the enemy's attack by a whole 15%. The 6 Sugar Rush stacks for 1 rhythm up can be quite steep, as a total of 24 SR stacks is needed to get 4 RU stacks for the maximum attack down debuff. Thus, to easily collect Sugar Rush, you can pair her with at least one of her bandmates, as they can help with gathering 4 rhythm up stacks easily and getting that sweet 15% attack debuff, which will be extremely useful against hard-hitting bosses. Plus, she can also help to trigger her bandmates' Sugar Rush effects in their kits. I'll go more into detail about this in the user section later. However, you don't need to use Ben Natsu with her bandmates, and you can use her solo, cause her own Sugar Rush stacks also count towards the team. But using her alone means she would most likely only have 0 or at most 1 to 2 rhythm up stacks, as her EX only grants her 2 SR per use. But it's not too bad in my opinion, cause the 5% and 7.5% attack down debuff is still pretty decent. By the way, the rhythm up stacks are permanent, plus it calculates the SR stacks that your team collects throughout the battle, including any that expire. So the moment you hit a total of 6 SR stacks, she will obtain 1 RU stack. I hope that makes sense. While there are other units with more potent attack shred debuffs, Natsu's is actually valuable, cause she is the only unit so far who has this debuff on their sub, and you can stack it with other students' attack reduction debuffs, further decreasing the enemy's firepower. Not to mention, hers are essentially almost permanent due to its 20-second duration being longer than the short 5-second cooldown, plus the 20% chance to apply with her attacks helps with this. Next, her basic skill at max level increases her healing by 35.3% for 30 seconds every time she launches 15 normal attacks. This huge healing buff directly improves her EX's health recovery by a lot, and while the 15 auto attacks condition might seem steep, it can be reached faster with the help of attack speed buffs such as those from Ben Kazusa, allowing her to proc the skill more often and quicker, boosting her EX's heals. Speaking of, her enhanced skill boosts her normal attack range and attack speed by 100 and 21.2% respectively, with the latter helping with more frequent basic activations, while the increased range lets her stay behind the tank even though she's a front unit, which is helpful seeing as she doesn't have too much HP, partly cause she uses gloves instead of shoes. Meanwhile, her enhanced skill plus at UE40 provides her with additional healing, which can be a fairly good investment cause it increases her efficiency as an AoE healer. And finally, her UE50 upgrades her field terrain mood from S to SS, while her UE60 ups her explosive effectiveness by 10%, though these two levels are needed unless you really like Natsu or you want slightly improved stats. Overall, Ben Natsu is a good AoE sustain who can supply good continuous heals to your other striker students in a wide area, while also being able to increase your team's survivability by slightly decreasing the enemy's attack, especially when paired with her bandmates. So, where can Ben Natsu be used in? Well, like I mentioned earlier, she works very well with the rest of Sugar Rush, cause not only can they assist in Sugar Rush stack accumulation, letting Natsu apply stronger attack debuffs, but she can also benefit from some of their skills / give them good heals, plus activating the Sugar Rush effects in their kits. Specifically, Ben Kazus gives 1 to 2 SR stacks with her EX, while increasing Natsu's attack speed to help her proc her basic. For Ben Yoshimi, she can supply 5 SR stacks off the rip with 1 EX, which is nearly enough for 1 rhythm up stack, though her EX is 10 cost, whereas Ben Natsu can boost my tsundere wife's basic skills damage by increasing its firepower by 10% with her 2 SR stacks, which is really helpful as it is her main damage outlet. With Ben Irie, the benefits are much less, as she gives gives Natsu only one SR stack. Thus, with these, using Ben Natsu with even one of them, like Ben Kazus or Ben Yoshimi, or both, can be beneficial. Less so with Ben Airi since she isn't used that much. However, again, don't feel pressured to use them together, as Natsu can definitely still work alone, being used solo by many senseis. In terms of content, similar to the other band girls, Ben Natsu has mainly been used in the Fury of Set Final Restriction battle, where she is utilized as one of the main AoE healers in the team, since her continuous use can help keep your other 5 striker students alive, as well as fully restore one of the obelisk's health to remove its overcharged status effect. Not only that, as there is almost little to no movement, there is less risk of your striker's units moving out of range of her heals. However, her positioning in the team is still very important, cause if positioned correctly, her EX's heals can reach all your students and one of the obelisks thanks to its wide radius, though it also depends on your other unit's attack range, and one might just be outside of her radius, especially the outermost student. Other than that, she can also help in slightly decreasing Set's exorbitant attack, particularly on the harder floors. Again, you can stack a debuff with Ibuki or Kotama's attack debuffs, plus her blue armor means she takes less damage from his raid attack from floor 50 and above. Hence, all these have resulted in Ben Natsu being brought into quite a lot of Sensei's Fury of Set teams, as her potent heals combined with those from other healers like Onsen Shugure and Kokona can help to effectively ensure your student's survivability, as well as easily fully recover the obelisk's health whenever it gets struck by lightning and becomes overcharged. Not to mention, on the higher floors like floor 100+, you will most likely need a UE40 Ben Natsu, as the additional healing on her Enhanced Skill Plus will be a huge help as Set hits way harder. Also, as a healer, she is flexible enough to be used in both Raid and Blue Armored Set, but for Raid Set, her attack debuff can be stronger since you will be using Ben Yoshimi, who is the best explosive DPS unit for this boss. Maybe Ben Kazus too, but she is not exactly a must-use like Yoshimi. Aside from Set, you could probably bring her into regular content if you need to, though there are many other healer alternatives to choose from, and I've also seen very few teams use Ben Natsu in Lunatic Yesod at the time of writing, presumably cause her heals can keep your students alive in phase 1 when the ground is electrified / when he launches the debris from his chest, though from what I've seen, most rely on Atsuko instead, who has more survivability as a tank. Plus, it's still very early days as this boss just released, so it'll be interesting to see if she's used in more Lunatic teams for Yesod in the future. Just a quick side note, Ben Kazusa's pick rate has slightly increased since she is also used quite a bit in Yesod Phase 2, cause essentially, her potent AoE attack speed buffs will be needed to boost your students and especially the accompanying drone's rate of fire in order to deal tons more damage to the right-sided pillars and his right hand. I'll go more into detail about this raid in the future. So overall, should you pull for Ben Natsu? Well, in my opinion, if you want to really succeed in Fury of Set, perhaps you plan on tackling the harder difficulties, then sure, you may pull for her, cause she can be a big help in defeating this boss. Though again, I personally feel that for the higher floors like floor 100+, you may need a highly invested Ben Natsu like UE40. However, if you aren't interested in doing Fury of Set too seriously, or you don't care about Final Restriction at all since there aren't any Paroxysm rewards, or if you're content with just using your current healers instead, cause while she is a great unit for this boss, she isn't really a must-have, then you may just skip Ben Natsu, use your other healers / borrow her from your club / friends list, and save your Paroxysms. Not only that, she is also a permanent unit unlike Ben Kazusa and Ben Yoshimi, so if you are a limited collector and don't have those two, then you can just focus on getting them, as we don't know when is their next rerun, or I suppose if you prefer to get Kikyo instead. Regardless, it is up to you to decide who among the 4 to pull for. Maybe you want to collect all the Sugar Rush members for this adorable victory animation, or if you feel lucky like I did and get Ben Natsu in a cheeky 10 pull. And as always, if Natsu is your waifu and you want to learn the meaning of rock with her in her L2D, then go ahead and pull for her. And that's all for this review. Again, I've already covered the other band girls and Kikyo in separate videos last year. I'll leave the link in the pinned comment if you want to check them out. Anyways, let me know who you're pulling for if you are. Good luck with your pulls, and I'll see y'all in the next one.